Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, you want me to quit? Sure. This is not on-call or overtime work. Okay. I already work Saturdays. Follow the old rule. If you say so, boss. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You want me to quit? Sure. This happened a few months ago. My boss at the time was upset with me for calling out their illegal practices to them. Me and my co-workers were all younger people, mainly girls, so my boss thought that he would be able to easily manipulate us. When he told me to come to the front of the store to have a talk with him, he started yelling at me, telling me that, this is a right-to-work state, so if you don't like it here, you can work somewhere else. I didn't want to do anything drastic, so I finished our conversation and left. That night, my coworker texted me and told me that my boss had called her and essentially just talked bad about me to her. I texted my boss right then saying, I've given some thought to our earlier conversation, and I've decided to take your advice. I would like to tender my resignation effective immediately. That triggered a long queue of my other coworkers leaving as well. As far as I know, 8 others have left as well, and I don't think that it's ending at 8. Edit. A lot of people in the comments were mentioning that I should report the illegal practices. Does anyone know who to report those to? It was things like not giving, and in fact discouraging, breaks, not providing pay stubs, and taking money from our paychecks unannounced. I'm not sure the legality of all of it, but if anyone knows who I could report to, I would love to do it. This is not on-call or overtime work. Okay. I was a programmer working to build up a new department, where I was the only staff member other than my manager. My manager would talk to clients and I did everything else. I had about 40 clients with websites getting information from 80-ish satellite communication sensor arrays with up-to-the-minute updates on those web pages, which I also built. I built a whole monitoring system to text or email me if there was an issue. As more clients came online, the notifications of systems being unresponsive or missing data retrieval windows became more frequent, and I had to often log in after hours to fix things. I was mostly doing this because I cared about my work and I knew we were still ironing out issues. When I would fix things after hours, my manager was very stingy, and told me unless it was more than an hour of work at once I should not get paid for that time. I told him that it was getting to be a lot of little intervals in the evenings and weekends, and I should be paid to be on call. He refused to discuss on call, and even the few times he did get some of the evening time paid out, it was my regular hourly rate, no extra pay for overtime. I also found out a few months later that I was paid over $10,000 less than the salespeople selling the services I created. So, I confront my manager about the on-call and overtime again. I tell him that my time outside of work is being significantly affected by these after-hours issues, and waking me and my partner up in the middle of the night, and that he needs to pay me to do on-call. I had done this for over a year now, with literally no breaks. Well, it's not really on-call. He says. If something breaks in the evening, if I'm watching for it and then fixing it, what is that? I ask calmly. You just, occasionally see if things are working and fix them if they're broken, but that is not on call. That's just caring about your job while we get things working. We're not paying you for after-hours work. He says. Okay. I understand. That weekend, I turn off my phone, since I am not on call. A system that my system relied on goes down, and all of the data flow stops. Everything comes crashing down. I turn on my phone Monday morning, and my phone tries to process over 1,100 text notifications and even more emails, and freezes. I get to work and my manager's phone is ringing off the hook and I can hear clients yelling at him on the phone. He's red like a tomato and freaking out. He demands to know what happened and why it has not been fixed yet. I reply, I don't know. I wasn't on call. And I walk out of his office to leave him with the angry clients. I quit a month later. I already work Saturdays. 12 years ago I was working 2 retail jobs, one I liked and one I did not. I was being offered more hours at the job I liked and was going to make sure all 3 parties were taken care of as best I could, myself and both stores. That day, the manager of job I did not like was talking to me on my break. Do not talk to me on break, I don't care what it is, but especially if it is work-related as I am not working, about how the other employees are upset I do not work Saturdays at this job under Bob. I told Bob the manager, I don't care if they think it's fair. I work Saturdays already, just not here. And I work longer at the other job too. In fact, I only have 1 day off a week, so if they want to complain about Saturdays being unfair, mention I have half of their days off. No one ever brought it up to me. Bob was just trying to get me to work Sats. So he goes, well, unfortunately we do need you to change your availability so we can schedule you Saturdays or else I will have to write you up. That's not true and I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice as of now. If I'm scheduled a Saturday here in those 2 weeks, I'll be quitting even faster. Multiple times over the next 14 days Bob asked me if there's anything they could do to keep me around. Follow the old rule. If you say so, boss. As part of my job, I have to travel a few times a year, roughly 5 to 6 times a year, for periods ranging from 3 days to 2 weeks. When that is the case, everything, plane ticket plus hotel plus food, is covered by my job under the following rule: I need to pay for everything out of pocket first, keep the receipts, then submit them to the admin/billing department who approves the expenses and gives me back the amount in my following paycheck. However, about 6 months ago, everyone received an email from the higher-ups stating a change in rules. From now on, every food-related expense didn't need to be justified anymore. We would instead receive a fixed amount of money per meal, which totaled to around $80 to $90 per day, very generous I would say, and would be allowed to pocket whatever isn't used. The goal was to lighten the pressure on the billing department, because they were spending too much of their time checking every single receipt for every travel, and time is money, so by doing this they were planning on reducing costs. As soon as I read that I was ecstatic, because I knew I was always spending much less than the allowed amount per day, so that would mean that I was going to get free extra money. However, my excitement was short-lived. Not even an hour after that first email, another email came from my direct supervisor that stated that, we will continue to follow the old rules, please disregard the previous email. After talking to some of my colleagues, we realized that our supervisor thought the amount we were allowed under the new rule was too high, and he was trying to save money off us by making us stick to the old rule. So you want to save money and disregard the higher-ups' rules? Okay, let's play. The first trip I went to after that email, I did the following. 8 a.m., light breakfast at the hotel, but then coffee at the shop across the street. 10 a.m., I'm feeling a bit peckish, let's get a banana from the supermarket, and a small pastry from the bakery next door. And let's not forget a bottle of water from this kiosk nearby. 12 p.m., lunch at the restaurant, but I took the dessert in a tea room close by and my noon coffee at the Star of Bucks. 4 p.m., time for a little snack, let's get a chocolate bar at the grocery store and a boba tea in that little store there. 7 p.m., time for a pre-dinner drink at the local pub. 8 p.m., dinner at a restaurant. 9 p.m., let's not forget the water bottle for the night. I did this for the whole week I was traveling, making sure that for each day I spent as close as possible to the amount I was allowed to spend. So when I came back, instead of submitting around 20 receipts, 3 a day, I submitted around 150. And submitting the receipts was quite a long process as they were asking for a lot of information for each single one, such as the amount in local currency, conversion rate from my credit card, corresponding amount in my currency, address of the establishment, short description of the purchase, etc. And I did this on company time, of course, which took over 3 hours to complete. Once I finished submitting all of these, I received a panicked email from the billing department asking me why I submitted so many receipts and didn't follow the new rule. I forwarded them the email from my supervisor, saying that I was only following what I was told. One of my friends in admin told me that the billing department actually went through all my receipts, which took them a huge amount of time. My supervisor got a stern talking to from the higher ups, and from then on we were allowed to disregard all the food receipts. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.